What's going on, guys? Big welcome to you all to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta. You're here with d.boy. As you can see, we are with the Raging Tactics set. So with the card reveals, I will do the card reveals for Spike Brothers because, as you know, I'm a big Spike Brother fan. And as we know from the information from previous sets, which is Glory, Justice, and also the original set of Spike Brothers, so the second wave of the support, which is the Extra Booster 1. So we had to wait 8 extra boosters and another boosters to get our support, but finally, long awaiting, we finally have the support. So I think the support will include 22 cards for each and every clan in this set. So Mega Clone, Spike Brothers, Tachikatsu will each get 22 cards, being 1 VR, 2 triple rares, then I think 3 double rares, and then 5 rares, and then 10 commons. This is what I think. And then we have one more card. We don't know yet what it could be. In the first set we got 11 common, and now we could get like another marker shiny thingy, or maybe they include something else. We don't know yet. We also don't know how the SPs would be. Will we have an original rare? Will they include 3 SPs as the same as they did for Glory Justice, like the 2 triple rares were SP and 1 double rare was SP. So I don't know. I hope that we will have more higher rarities for these clans. So without further ado, let's start with the set reveals. So first, we know that they will reprint Linux, I mean, Cheerful Linux. They will also do Tiara, Reprinter, and they will reprint Silent Joker and Mega Trainer. The downside to this, or the things that I don't like about this, is they will be the same art. First, we thought that they will reprint everything in a different arts, and that was a very good idea. I really loved it because I know that we will not get a lot of new triggers, that they will include only 1 crit, but still, now they are just wasting paper, wasting space in the set for reprinting 5 or 4 commons that you don't really need reprinted. I mean, if you reprint a higher rarity card and lower rarity, then I can understand that, but then you're doing Yu-Gi-Oh!, you're doing Konami, so please don't do that. But still, I don't agree with this. They should have done different art like they did with the trial decks. It just looked like a little bit of work put into it, but I think that would have been great. Now we still are stuck with the same art for the heal trigger, we're stuck with the same art for the Mega Trainer, but it's okay. I think I'm okay with this, but it would have been better if they chose different art. Okay, then we have the new Lyre Lips. I don't know if our new crit will be Lyre Lips. I will be happy to see our crit being a Lyre Lips, but it could also be something else. It could be something new, because we have only 2 crits that are not included. That's the Lyre Lips and the Dudley crit. And looking at Bushiroad and how they are taking approach to these 3 clans, I would think they will make a new crit. They will not make something that we already have. Especially because Lyre Lips comes from the G era with the Rising, and they will not do Rising cards right away. But if they would reprint one of the cards being a crit, I would be happy to see Lyre Lips being the crit. One more thing, I don't know if they will include another starter because they have Mega Trainer in here. It would be stupid in my idea to reprint or make another starter. It would be fun because now then you would have more choices to choose from, which they would do the same but different art. But if they include the Mega Trainer, I hope they don't give us another starter. That's another waste of space for a common. But I don't know, let's wait and see. Alright, now we are with the first reveal for Spike Brothers. They kick things off with an amazing card. Like, the whole set started with Spike Brothers, and this rare is really amazing. I will tell you why, because there is a lot to talk about. But first, let's read his skill. So he has 2 abilities. The second one is when you ride on the top of this card, you may call this card to a regular circle. So that's an easy +1. But that's not it. There is more. It's an auto ability. Whenever it boosts, you may pay the cost, which is a Soul Blast of 1. and then you may get this card, get an extra 2k, and that's at the end of the battle. And then at the end of the battle, you draw a card and you put this card in the bottom of your deck. So you ride on top of it, you call it, you attack with something, you boost with this card, you Soul Blast 1, this card goes to the bottom of your deck, and that's amazing, right? Downside to this is when you ride a Spike Bouncer on the top of this card, you may Soul Blast 1, which would mean that you do not have enough soul to use his ability, because this will not be in the soul anymore, so you're left with only your starter and your soul. You Soul Blast your starter, you don't have any soul anymore, and you have to wait until next turn to use his ability. So that's important to remember. Second thing is, if you do that, and then you get to the next turn, and then you have only Spike Monster in your soul, if you ride into Siegfried, you will have 1 soul. So then you would have to use Siegfried's skill to put this card into your soul or something else into your soul to have 2 souls, and then you cannot use his skill anymore because you have only 2 souls, and you want to use them for the skill of the General Siegfried. If you let this as your last attack, you attack first with the regular, then you attack with the Siegfried. If Siegfried will not hit, then you could use his ability to put him back into the deck and to draw a card. So there is a lot of things to talk about. It kind of costs you 2 soul because he himself will go out of the soul, and with that there are some issues which I will talk about. First, let's talk about the arts. The art is really good. I love the background, the colors of the background, and I also love the colors of the armor. It really fits into the Spike Brother theme. The way he looks is like a Young Rising, which is a very good friend of mine told me, like he looks a little bit like a Young Rising, but yes, he does, because he has the horns and the color of his hair, and I think it's really amazing art. I'm very happy with this. If the art of the set would look more like this, I would be amazed, which I already am. Then we have the uses. I would say that this card gets a 4 from 5. There is only one deck that I could think of that could not use him, and that is actually the deck that uses Violence Ace. Because Violence Ace uses soul, he needs soul, and because of that, you kind of want to not get him out of your soul when you ride on top of him. Also, you will not want to use his abilities to Soul Blast. So that's why I think that that deck would not use him, but every other deck like the Turbo GB8 could use him. The Rising deck could use him because he has kind of charge. So the standard deck, the one that we already have, and I think even the new one, if we get a new one, would also use him. Then we talk about the skill. First of all, 2 things comes in mind. First, discard pluses, something that we don't see that much in Spike. The only one card that we got that pluses is Spike Monster. Spike Monster could plus you 1, I mean from the V support. Spike Monster could plus you 1 in place and could redraw you his value. So he is kind of plus 1 because on place, get you a new one, plus 1 on the field, and then at the end of the battle he could go into the soul to draw your card, which is something that you don't use that much in standard, but you do it in premium, especially in a GB8 build. And this card pluses you in the early game. But that's not it. It pluses you first on the field, and then when you boost with it, it pluses you on hand. So that's an amazing. You get more attacks or stronger attacks, and then you also get the card back into your hand. So that's why I'm saying +1 on the field helps with the early rush, makes great numbers because it becomes a 10k booster. So 10k boosting a Bracky will hit for 30 hitting into a grade 2 is really good. So it's way better than hitting the 18 or the 28 numbers that you hit with cards like Commander Gary Cannon. I'm comparing this card a lot to Commander Gary Cannon because they're kind of the same. Then you also +1 in hand and it does not have to hit. So that's why, in my opinion, it is kind of better than Commander Gary Cannon. Then it also works great with cards like the Juggernaut Maximum, because with Juggernaut Maximum boosted by an 8k you make the 21 column, and Juggernaut Maximum boosted by this card you make the right amount of power, which is the 23, 33, 43, whatever you want to get that column into, which becomes crazy. But yeah, again, this card does really good with boosting like a Brack in the early game or a Juggernaut into the late game, which is the extra 2k that you needed. And while having cards like Commander Gary Cannon on the field, especially in the late game, he doesn't need much anymore. And this card helps you to attack for higher number, which is an extra 10k on that column, but after that you could also put it back to redraw. The one downside to that strategy is you will forget Unite Attacker, which I myself do not like anyway, but you will definitely take him out and put some of the new cards in. So if you have him, say farewell. Alright, so that's the general idea about this card. Then we have two most important things to add to that. First, he leaves an open regular circle behind him, which means that he could work with charge decks, so he has charge. He also works with cards like the Artipiccolo, so you could have him on the field, boost a Punter at the end of the battle. Punter goes into your soul because you gave him too much power, and then this card goes to the bottom of your deck, draw your card, and then you attack with Piccolo, put that card into your soul to call new cards. And you could recall him, which means you could get pluses out of Piccolo now. Like you can have two of them boosting, you attack with them, you put them into your soul, at the end of the battle, then you draw two cards. So that's good, because Piccolo did not give us a plus. He gave us a plus if you use more counter blasters, like for skills like, let's say if you want to get a Spike Bouncer out, if you hit with Cold Pot Impulse you could get some pluses, but you didn't get that easy pluses. Like sometimes I put Commander Gary Cannon in the back row so I could like boost and still hit and then get pluses, but this card does not need to hit to get the pluses, so that's good. And then there is the last important detail about this card, and that detail makes this card kind of on the OP side, which is a detail that only Spike Brother players will think about, only premium Spike Brother players will think about. And that's the timing. The timing of the skill when this card goes off is amazing. That's the timing that Eliza goes off, and that's why Eliza is an amazing card. What do I mean? I will explain. When does his skill goes off and when does his skill triggers? It triggers whenever he boosts, and it goes off at the end of the battle. But the cost is only one Soul Blast. That's important to remember. So let's say that you have this card on the field. You have an Agrius turn. You attack with him. Then at the end of that battle, you have to put him back to your deck and you have to draw, right? From his skill. So you cannot attack with Agrius and then use Agrius skill to recall him because he's not more on the field. So first attack with him, you have to like not give him power, and then at the second attack you could give him the power to put him back to draw. But how does that work with the GB8 skill? That is what I meant with like this, that how does it work with the combo with the Mayhem Tiger and GB8? I will explain. Let's say that we have a Mayhem Tiger, which I usually do a lot in my GB8 turn. I have a Mayhem Tiger and I boost him with something. You have a Mayhem Tiger and you boost him by this crazy guy, which I will call him a Mini Rising. So you call Mini Rising behind your charging Mayhem Tiger and you attack with that column. When you attack, you give the GB8 skill to this card. Why do you do that? Because you want to put Mayhem Tiger back at the bottom of your deck so you could recall him. And Mayhem Tiger is just amazing by his own. But now you boost him with this card and that becomes a 19k, and you have a Force Mark or anything in there, which makes a perfect column to hit above the 13k Vanguard. So even the 14k Vanguard. So that's really amazing. But this card would have the GB8 skill. Because its skill activated when he boosts, the skill of you drawing a card still activate. So let's say you attack, you boost by this card, you give the GB8 skill to this card. At the end of the battle, you put you have 3 effects that goes off. His effect to go to the bottom of the deck, Mayhem Tiger skill to go to the bottom of the deck, and then the skill of the GB8. First, let's say you activate the Mayhem Tiger. You put this card, Mayhem Tiger, to the bottom of your deck. That's done. Then you have 2 left. You use the skill of the GB8 first. Very important. Then you put this card and a card from your hand into the soul to recall something. And then you could call like a Mayhem Tiger or anything that you want. Does not matter. You call that. Then his skill will still go off. He's no longer on the field, but he still went on standby. And because putting him into the bottom of the deck is not a cost, you still draw 1. So that's why this card is an amazing plus for your GB8 turn. And that's actually it for this card. I tried to explain everything that I could explain, but only one downside to this card, and it's kind of cost you 2 soul whenever you ride into it. That's the only thing that I kind of not really dislike about this card, because it should have a cost, and that cost could have been a Counter Blast or a Soul Blast, and I think Soul Blast is better than using Counter Blast. The only thing you cannot really use him a lot with cards like a Spike Bouncer, or you could, but then you will not have the effective C-free turn via you not having the extra 2 soul, or you wait a little bit, which I don't mind. I think you could still plus a lot from this card if you play it correctly, and that's the thing about Spike. You could really play the cards, abuse them correctly, and with that you make a lot of pluses. And that's actually it for this card. Next, what we have is the 2 cards that we don't know yet. We have one VR and one the Bad Dragon. I would think that the Bad Dragon would still have kind of an ability when you ride on top of him, you give power or something. I don't know, we'll wait and see. But the VR, I would think it calls. When it attacks, it maybe will call in the battle phase. And maybe there is a reason why the new rare leaves an open Vanguard circle behind him. I don't know. Not really that the VR has to call to open Vanguard circle. I don't think that they would do that, but I think he will call to Vanguard circles. And with cards like these, like you get a lot of benefit, but it goes off the field. That would make the VR very interesting in my idea. Alright, that was kind of it for this video. I would like to thank you guys for watching, and I hope that you really enjoyed this video. I know that these kind of videos could take too long, but there is a lot to talk about for Spike Brothers, and I'm really sorry that I do not do those kind of videos for like Tochikaze and Mail Colony, but I'm more of a Spike Brother fan, and if you guys really wanted us to do that, then there are more people on our team that could cover those cards if you want to. And don't forget to go to our Facebook and YouTube channel, like, subscribe, and tell us what do you think about the new Spike Brother card. That was kind of it for this video. I would like to thank you guys. Until next time.